What's up, nerds? Welcome to our weekly wrap up of Marvel's What If here on Them Nerds. This week, episode 7, is it?
Yep.
Episode 7 is all about the hero whose name has a T and an R and an O and an H, but not in that order. This was the episode all about Party Thor. Jerry, what'd you
Yeah.
think?
Actually, that was a hilarious episode. Probably, one of the funniest ones they've had, full of cameos by pretty much everybody you can think of from the MCU. It was an awesome episode.
Yeah. This to me was like peak Marvel because we got like a lot of Easter eggs, we got a lot of humor, but then in the end, which we'll get to in a minute, you got smacked with that dose of reality, like, oh, this is something's going down.
Yeah.
So, can you share with our fine viewing audience the premise of this particular episode?
Basically, it leaves us where we started off with when we first saw Thor, except for in this universe, Odin doesn't decide to take Loki. He leaves him with the Frost Giants. And because of that, Thor is raised as an only child and kind of grows up to be, mischievous, I guess, or definitely, lackadaisical. I'm just going to use every word.
Yes. That's a great word.
Yeah. Basically, he's lacked of responsibilities. And so when Odin goes into his deep sleep, like we saw in the first Thor, Frigga tells him that this is going to be the first time he's going to actually have to be a king. But instead, Thor decides to just throw a party.
Yeah. Yeah, we get Party Thor complete with the Warriors 3 and Lady Sif. And then he decides he's going to have his party on the most backwoods planet in all the 9 realms, Midgard, Earth.
Yeah.
Don't know. And we see, like you said, tons of cameos. We've got Skrulls running around. We've got the whole crew of Guardians of the Galaxy, including the Ravagers. And then we get a visit from the Frost Bros, which includes Prince Loki of Jotunheim. He's a big ass blue guy now, though, in Frost Giant fashion.
And they, refer to each other as a brother from.
Right. Yeah. So even though they're not brothers like they were in the other films, it's they still have that relationship. And actually, it's kind of funny. They have like a better relationship. They're like actually like friends. Thor proceeds to go all around the world messing stuff up, and Jane Foster makes an appearance, voiced by Natalie Portman, which we were, kind of surprised to see. There were a ton of the original actors reprising their roles in this one.
Yeah, I think there's only about 4 people that didn't come back and reprise the roles.
Right.
But I think what it was is the Thor and Loki situation was there was no jealousy between the two because they're both equals. So
Right.
So they have a good relationship with each other. Jane and Thor, obviously, like we've learned in past episodes, they have a connection that can't be broken regardless of what universe they're in. Right. And so they find themselves with each other. And then we also have Darcy, who finds love with Howard the Duck. And
that was great.
Yeah. And so it was a hilarious episode, and that basically crescendos with Captain Marvel being called by Shield after Korg ends up knocking Nick Fury a few miles away and knocking him unconscious and leaving Maria Hill as the interim leader of Shield. And they basically used the pager that we saw at the end of Infinity Wars to call Captain Marvel in to come take care of the situation.
That's right. I loved, she was talking about how she was the acting director, and why are you the acting director? And you expect it to be some kind of tragic thing. No, it's just Korg being Korg. Cannonball! I was going to whip that one. It's great. So we get this really fun, epic sort of only in animation fight between Thor and Captain Marvel, which was great. It was fun to watch. And in the end, she can't quite beat him. And so we have to go to the actual strongest woman in the universe, his mommy. Jane Foster decides, you know what? Listen up, Thor. I'm telling your mom on you.
Yeah.
She has to cut short her, once every 1,000 years drinking date with her girlfriends and has to come take care of him. Or
And then
Thor.
quickly, you see Thor having to rush around the world trying to fix all the problems that he's caused, which is like hilarious, with him breaking the ice off of Mount Rushmore back together and
trying to put the world's largest slingshot, aka the St. Louis Arch, back in place. It was great. And like I said, there's a lot of stuff that happened on this episode that really, you're only going to see it in animation.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that I really like about What If is, you're going to get those moments. Hilarious episode. I really enjoyed it. But
then Frigga comes back and lands on the planet, and Thor fools her into thinking that, this was just an educational mission. And then we see, that it wraps up with Jane and Thor meeting each other up like we've seen at the end of Thor 1, similar to that, where he's going to take her on a date. But you think it's the conclusion of the episode, and what happens?
Yes, they lived happily ever after, didn't they, Jerry?
Yep.
No, they didn't. Because in true What If fashion, just as Thor is about to make his return to Asgard, we see some sort of rift open up, and we start seeing an army of Ultron drones kind of walking out of it. And then as they part, one of the coolest pieces of imagery so far, in my estimation at least, in this show, we see Ultron emerge from this rift with the Infinity Stones across his chest. And then you're like, oh snap, it's Ultron. The mask opens up and it's not Ultron, it's freaking Vision.
Yeah.
So good. So good. So that leads us to definitely a cliffhanger type ending. Are we going to see this again?
I'm guessing that's what we're building up a multiverse of Avengers so that they can go ahead and beat this world threat.
Right. You kind of think you've already got some, possibilities from the other episodes. We're going to see probably Captain Carter is going to be back, I'm sure. And now we have Bro Thor, who has matured just a bit, maybe. We have Star-Lord, aka T'Challa. Killmonger, maybe. Killmonger, maybe. Maybe now that he's the king of Wakanda, maybe now that he's the Black Panther, he'll actually do some heroic things going forward.
Maybe.
I don't think so. I don't think fighting to the death with a robot AI thing is going to be on his agenda. But overall, this I think might have been my favorite episode.
Yeah, it was a great one. I don't know if it was my favorite one, but it was definitely one of the most entertaining.
I'm going to call it my favorite just because the combination of humor along with that kind of dramatic ending that sets us up for the possible next chapter in the story. It really left me like, oh man, I can't wait to see what they do with this.
Yeah.
Good stuff. What out of all, there were a lot of like goofy kind of Easter egg type things. What was your favorite thing that happened that was kind of just like a goofy like nod or Easter egg kind of thing?
There was a lot. I like the one where, he says a thing, did you just make a boom? And he says, I do my booms in private. And then like Nebula, where she's playing craps in Vegas, is like, Mama needs a new eye.
Yeah. Yeah, one of my favorite ones was from Nebula also when Thor was trying to get everybody to help clean up. She's like, I think I hear my dad calling.
Yeah.
Great. But definitely my favorite was Darcy has been like such a surprise character after being such a weird, like lame duck character in, the first Thor films. Then she shows up in WandaVision and she's like stealing the show. And then here, voiced by Kat Dennings, you know, the Darcy burying Howard the Duck was just so ridiculous. I think it was my favorite, like, little Easter egg thing. But cool to see Korg and all the Skrulls and all the Guardians and the Ravagers and all these people kind of running around. Oh no, Howard the Duck wasn't my favorite. Jeff Goldblum riding a scooter, off into the sunset was my favorite.
Yeah, saying we're taking our scoots.
We're taking the scoots. We are taking the scoots. Line of the night. Good job, Jeff Goldblum. Well, again, What If likes to keep us guessing, so we don't know what's coming up next. We do know from the mid-season kind of teaser thing that we're likely to see some more action out of Peggy coming back as Captain Carter. We're likely to see more of T'Challa as Star-Lord. And I would assume after this episode, we're going to see more of Bro Thor and more of Vision / Ultron with all the doggone Infinity Stones everywhere. Holy crap.
You know what else we're going to see?
What are we going to see?
A winner for this Shang-Chi Funko Pop. This is your last chance to like, subscribe, and comment below for a chance to win it.
That's right. And while you're liking and subscribing, don't forget to follow us on social media at We Them Nerds on Instagram, where Jerry constantly posts great stuff, Twitter, and Facebook. Anything else for the good of the order, my friend?
No, you need to be getting on this show if you haven't started watching it yet.
That is absolutely true. That's it for us tonight, nerds. Be good. Be good to each other.
Stay nerdy.
Later, nerds.